Good morning.
I had blue out, and then I remembered today's Friday.
Look at you. I got a new one from Ann Taylor over the weekend. Oh,
Gorgeous. I love the bow.
isn't it pretty? Hi, Jessica. Hi, Susan. Ding dong. Ding dong. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see everybody.
Oh,
Are
we
you
had a
okay?
hand up for this, didn't we? So, where did I put that?
It looks like this.
Yeah. I just, I filed it somewhere where I wouldn't possibly forget about it.
Hey, Jessica, do you have the link handy where you can throw it in the chat box?
I do. Hold on.
Thank you, sweetie.
Full moon. I found it.
Oh, okay, good.
Nope, I did not find it. I found something different that had moon in the title.
So much moon. Thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome.
She's got her candle going and her celestial background, which I love, of course.
Why would you like that?
I'm a little biased about that. Did everybody have a nice Halloween?
I was in class.
You're in school, yes. You had to play hooky. We had a lot of little trick-or-treaters. They were cute.
We didn't.
Big trick-or-treaters, too.
I had one.
You had one?
We had two.
Oh.
That was it. And it wasn't even a little one, right? So I was really totally bummed.
Did you have a lot of candy left over?
No, I gave it to the kids. I gave it to to Jack.
Oh, good. He looks better on him than us, right? That's always.
Oh, yeah, he's got the metabolism. And if he's here, I would stress eat it. So
yeah, that's why I put mine in a bag and gave it to Joe. Good morning, Margaret. Hello, Hannah.
Good morning.
Hannah, you'll be glad to know we're changing our clocks this weekend.
Yes, I am. I've already missed once.
I know, it's hard to be, I know, it's hard.
Yes.
Good morning, Mary Beth.
she was fashionably late. She didn't miss.
That is true. She didn't.
It was all good.
I'm going to go grab something off the printer. Be right back.
Okay. Hi, Mary Beth. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yay. Are you feeling more like on East Coast time now?
I am. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And, if you haven't done so, Jessica, who's our guest speaker today, has a little handout for us. It's in the Virtual Networkers group, and I'm just going to copy and paste it again in the chat box.
Okay.
If you want to print that out for her presentation. And does everybody see it? The Google Doc. Google Doc. And let's see. I know Faye is not attending because she has a sick granddaughter that she's babysitting. Yeah, that makes me sad. I'll give Connie Joe another minute. And my Judy's. Does anybody have Judy Fritz is traveling? Come on, Judy Fritz's airline miles. If you haven't done so already, please open the chat box. Jessica, you too. And put your first, last name, and email address. That's how we take attendance. And just so you know, Jessica, I send a link to this recording as well as a transcript of the chat box to everybody. So you have everybody's email address, or you can follow up and do coffee dates, whatever you all like to do. Or ignore it, one or the other.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here comes Judy Kane. Good morning, Judy. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
Yay.
Did we change links? I sat there trying to launch for a couple of minutes.
Nope, same old link.
Isn't that weird?
The
I had to go
Zoom.
back to the website and click on the virtual thing to get in.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. So it should be the 1631 or something at the end.
Yeah.
Just a Zoomy thing.
Yeah.
So we'll learn that Jessica has 6 children. So she's getting one of her babies out.
Oh, okay.
Here comes Connie Joe. Perfect timing. Well, we'll go ahead and get started now. I don't know if you can
Am I
see.
having a bad dream?
That's how I feel some mornings, right there. That's
Oh.
awesome.
I had eye surgery. I have to wear these till my eyes heal.
Were they getting your eyes in alignment or something?
Yeah.
Because
did
it's not
poor job.
working.
Oh, this is funny. I love it. But I'm still disappointed. There's still no Orlando Bloom. Next week, Orlando.
Oh, he's asleep. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Was it a rough night, Connie Joe? That's why our eyes are all. All right, we'll behave. We got a guest here. Anyway.
Oh, sorry. Serious. Ooh.
Okay, I'm ready. That was awesome. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Virtual Networkers. And as you can tell, we're going to have fun today. If you haven't done so already, open the chat box, do your name and email address for the good of the order. And we'll go ahead and get started with our 30-second commercials. But I'm going to ask you to add, just to make it fun and more variety, a business tip that you'd like to share in addition to your elevator speech. Oh, we have a guest coming. Hi, Tigger is like the perfect name for someone to join our group. Hi, Tigger.
Hi.
Are you a friend of Jessica's?
Am.
We are so glad you're here. Welcome. I hope you like to laugh because we are already laughing this morning. I was just saying we're going to do elevator speeches, and I'd ask everybody to add just a quick business tip. Let's just share some best practices. So I'll get us started. How about that for a change? Because I'm over here on the Zoom. I'm Jill Celeste. I'm the chapter president for Chapter 600 of Virtual Networkers. Good morning and welcome. I'm also the founder of the Celestial Circle, where I teach authentic marketing practices to purpose-driven entrepreneurs, and we have a lot of fun in the process. And I'm so excited to have Jessica here, who I'll introduce to you in just a few minutes. And my business tip for you is to take imperfect action. Do not get paralyzed because you'll never get it done. So, Debbie Keevan, you're next, my friend.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Debbie Keevan. I'm a writer, editor, and storyteller. I help your words magically appear on the screen, in books, and on your blog. And I'm outside of Baltimore. And my business tip is make sure that you have a signature on your emails that includes how people can get in touch with you. And if you can, a logo. There's a program called StampWise, which is free, that you can have a signature block and it allows people to always see you.
That's a great tip, a great tool as well. Thank you, Debbie. And I forgot to mention, for those who don't know, I live near Tampa, Florida, where it's still hotter than Hades. Jessica, I know where you're going to be our speaker, but I still want you to do an elevator speech and a business tip.
Sure. My name is Jessica Dugas. I'm an intuitive mentor helping women to live with less stress in their lives. Who doesn't need that? And I'm currently in Opelika, Alabama, which is just outside of Auburn, little town here. And let's see, business tip that I'm not already going to give you today.
Never made it to the moon.
Follow the moon. I think a good business tip is to start out with something that's not business during the day. Take care of yourself first and then move on to the business. Don't run into the office first like I forget and do some morning.
That's a great tip, Jessica. Thank you so much for that. By the way, I know someone from Opelika.
I do too, actually.
Do you really? I went to college with somebody whose family was Holly Cook. That's it. Anyway. Susan Rose, you're next.
Hello, my name is Susan Rose. I'm with Gutsy Happiness. I'm a happiness and life coach helping professional women figure out what they want to be doing actually in their lives rather than the horrible corporate job that they currently have. I'm located outside of Washington, D.C. in Reston, Virginia. And my business tip actually follows on to Jessica's, and that is to set business hours for yourself. Being self-employed, it's easy to just work all the time, and so carve that out and have business hours.
Great tip, because I don't know about you, but I have spent many evenings and weekends doing work. Margaret, my fellow Floridian.
Good morning. It is about 72 degrees and 100% humidity right now. I just checked. The cold front is coming, so the rain is impending. So I live in the Tampa Bay area in a little town called Dunedin, which is a best kept secret. Just come visit and you'll enjoy it. I help people change their mindset so they can transform their life. And I do that as a coach, life design coach, and as a career coach and author and speaker. And my business tip is even entrepreneurs need a resume. You just never know when you're going to be asked to be on a board or any of those other things, or even receive an award and they need your resume.
That's a great
If you need
tip.
a resume and you need it updated,
Margaret, you girl. Thank you, Margaret. That's a great tip. That's something I don't have. I don't even have a CV or nothing, so I guess I should work on that.
Ooh. Yep.
All right. Hannah, good morning. Oh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I am Anne Brøter from yourbrandvision.com. I am a graphic designer and visual brand manager. This means that I make every kind of visual touch point, from logos to websites to newsletters. Everything you need with the visual consistency, so your brand can be recognized everywhere. I help entrepreneurs find and visualize their unique greatness and attract their ideal clients. And I live in Sweden for some more months. Then I'm moving back to Norway because I'm Norwegian. And the temperature is 0 Celsius and it's raining.
32 Fahrenheit. That one I know.
Yeah. And we have had some snow, but it came and went away again. So,
you got a business tip for us, Hannah? I know you do.
Yes, I have. It was just something happening earlier today when I spoke to one of my clients, and I guess if we hadn't been as open to each other as we are, we would never have discovered it, because we just started like chatting, and then I said, you can do this and this and this, and she said, oh, and we can do this and this and this. And I said, yes. It's back and forth. And then we ended up with a concept that we may be trying out in Norway next year.
Oh, right.
so
awesome.
You need to be open. I think that's very important.
I love that. Great tip. Thanks, Hannah. Connie Jo.
Hi, I'm Connie Jo Miller of Enigma Bookkeeping Solutions, and I'm just checking the weather. It's 58 degrees in the Atlanta area, and it's raining. It's dark. Where was I? I do bookkeeping and financial coaching, so I take your bookkeeping tasks off your to-do list, so you don't have to deal with the frustration of doing your books. And I also offer financial coaching, which is that I help you find ways to save money, how to reduce expenses in your business so that you increase your bottom line. And my tip is, and I wrote it down here, is you always want to keep your business and personal expenses separate. You want to have a separate credit card, a separate checking account, a separate savings account. Don't mix them. You don't want to give the appearance that your business is just a hobby. So keep everything separate.
That's a great tip. Thank you, Connie Jo. Appreciate it. Tigger, you're next. Can you talk?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm actually at work right now.
Okay.
But, I come in early, so I don't have to deal with a lot of people.
Sounds like my kind of girl.
I get so much more done when it's very quiet in the office. So, for me, though, I actually am an intuitive oracle reader. I deal with the Akashic records. I'm also doing Reiki, so kind of a little of mashup of everything together. I own R&R Retake. And let's see. For me, I think the biggest tip is to definitely be your unique self. Don't try and follow in somebody else's footsteps as far as like what your business is. And to start off with affirmations to yourself every morning.
It's a great tip.
I started doing that, and it's amazing what a huge difference that has made.
Agreed. Where do you live, Tigger?
I live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Ah, how fun! You are there early.
Well, we're a 24-hour town, so.
That's true. That's true. Well, we're glad you joined us today. Thank you for being here. Judy Kane, you're next.
Okay, so I'm Judy Kane, and my business is called Aligned Consciousness, and I help people rewrite subconscious, self-limiting beliefs using a process called Psych-K. I work with people locally in the Tampa Bay area where I live, and also remotely. People come to me for three main reasons, either the big emotions like phobias, trauma, anxiety, or for goals they're not hitting, self-sabotaging behavior, or they don't even know why, they just aren't hitting the goals, or physical symptoms of stress. So let's see, my business tip is when you're in networking groups, find somebody to schedule one-on-ones with. I have gotten huge benefits from this particular network. And most of it is because we've talked afterwards separately and found out a little bit more about what each person does. So, yeah, I'm able to give referrals that way, and I've gotten them, and it's been good for me.
That's a great tip, and I'm so glad it's been valuable for you. Hey, awesome. Last but not least, certainly, Ms. Mary Beth.
Good morning, and I'm Mary Beth Decker from sacredgrove.com, and I'm in Alexandria where I'm watching the clouds come in, so I think rain is imminent. So I'm an intuitive animal communicator, and last night I had a great session with a lady, Carolyn, and her dog, Sam, and turns out we did some intuitive work on his body. Actually, what it was a medical scan, a body scan. So gave her some information because she's going to go see the vet Monday. So we did that. But you know what was also very nice is he needed to know if he was kind of guarded. He wanted to know if this was going to be his. If he's going to be able to stay with her forever. And it turns out that she got him from her sister who passed away. And so he was like, oh, I don't know if I can relax. And he needed somebody to adore. And I said, he'd like to start adoring you, and he's really glad that he's with you because he still gets the sense of her sister by being in with Carolyn. So it was a very lovely time for all three of us, actually. So my business tip actually is like one of the early ones I learned about setting boundaries, like set a do not disturb on your phone so you don't get random 10 p.m. calls from people who are in Texas who may be drunk calling you.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, set some boundaries and even set up a business phone sometimes. Do that too so you can screen your call. So from some personal experiences, set some boundaries on your time and how people can reach you.
That's probably another story for another day there, Mary Beth. Love it. Oh, that was just some great tips, everybody. Thank you for sharing. I hope you enjoyed just a little extra different twist on our elevator speeches. So now we're going to move into our special guest presenter. Jessica, do you have slides or are you just talking today?
I'm just talking.
Awesome. We love when you talk. So let me do your bio real quick, and then I will turn the floor over to you. And if you could go to about 8:40-ish, and then we'll open it up for questions. Would that work? Awesome. All right. So we know we met Jessica through her elevator speech, but let me give you her official bio. Jessica is an intuitive mentor, energy healer, and international best-selling author. I know she was in with a bunch of you and Shine. Congratulations. Passionate about helping women empower themselves to live with less stress and more joy. She is a multi-passionate entrepreneur, bringing all of her coaching skills, healing modalities, authentic intuition, and love of the moon to illuminate her spirit community and signature life illuminations program. Outside of her business, Jessica is a wife and a homeschooling mom of 6 children and runs a business. Amazing time management. We're going to learn more about that with the moon stuff, but I just am in awe. I have 2 kids and I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. So, Jessica, the floor is yours. We're excited to hear your talk today.
Awesome. Yeah, that always gets good starting off to tell people I have 6 children, then nobody can hear anything else I have to say.
We know you do other things.
It's interesting, that's for sure. I'm really excited to be here today, and it's so funny because for a long period of time my little ones would be up super early, and then they started sleeping in when we started homeschooling, which is really nice because they were catching the bus at like 6 in the morning, and not a good time. And so and of course today they wake up early because that's the way the world works. So I am a wife. I'm a homeschooling mom of 6 children, and believe it or not, despite having to having the business and homeschooling the kids, I was not a born organized person. I am a hopeless mess. Like I cannot usually follow a plan. For anybody that's interested in astrology, literally half my chart is in Aquarius and the other's in Libra. So it's all air all the time. I'm all over the place. And so I've really had to learn how to be organized, how to follow something, and not be all off on my own. But I'm glad that you mentioned Shine as well, because in that book I wrote about when my brother passed away, and it was during that time, that was in 2010, that I really went on a journey of self-discovery, self-care, self-help, like trying to find myself. He was 4 years younger than me, and it really just kind of lit a fire under me to figure out who I am and what I want. And so I started down this rabbit hole. How many of you have ever gone down a rabbit hole before? Mm-hmm. I was trying to do all the things. That was during that time that we became a homeschooling family. We became plant-based after my daughter had a very serious illness. Started getting into holistic practices, meditating, strengthening my relationship with the divine. I launched my business, doing all the things I thought I could do to live with less stress in my life. Yet I was still getting stressed out. And I know a lot of people end up saying to me, well, you have 6 kids, you're going to be stressed out. And that's not okay with me, because I know that I don't have to be if I don't want to. And so it was during that time as well that I found I started hearing about following the lunar cycle. I didn't grow up in a family that did woo things like that. So it was very outside of my comfort zone, outside of anything I ever knew. And but when I began to follow the lunar cycle and do it in a way that felt authentic to me, I really found out so much more about myself, and found a flow and an ease that I didn't know was possible. I didn't know it existed. And the subject of lunar energy and following the moon is one that dates back. I think the earliest that I've heard about is 25,000 years ago, when they started following the energy of the lunar cycle. And so it's a lot more than obviously we can get into in 25 minutes. But the one thing that I did find out through this process was that I could apply it to my business. And having so many children and homeschooling and so much on my plate, anything to make every part of my life a little bit easier is good with me. So when I could apply it to my business, that's when things started to really turn around for me. And I love to share that with everybody. And so I'm going to take you through fairly quickly, but again, I'm glad you're going to have a few minutes to ask questions, because then that way I can answer what you want to know. But I'm going to share with you why the lunar cycle is important to your business, one absolute truth about the lunar cycle, some little lunar basics, and then I'm going to give you 8 quick best practices to go for your business so that you can have just something easy to take with you today. So why is the lunar cycle important to your business? As I mentioned, it helps you get to know yourself better. One of the first things I did was start a lunar journal where I write down the phase of the moon. If you get into astrology at all, I write down a little bit of the astrology of where the moon is at. And then I also write down just how I'm feeling that day. How am I feeling physically? How am I feeling emotionally? How am I feeling spiritually? And then over time, you can look at that and notice patterns about yourself. And that's sort of where the proof comes in about the lunar cycle, because you can see things repeating certain times each month, which is really interesting. It also helps you get to know your clients better. You can also observe behaviors and just observing them as human beings during different parts of the month. You can also notice patterns with them. So it helps you get to know them better as well. And it also provides perfect timing for everything in your life. There really is a very specific energy that happens with each of the phases. And it really gives you such a great time to do anything. So if you ever get to overthinking, like some of us do, is this a good time for something? You can always look to the lunar cycle to find out, is this really a good time to do whatever it is that you do in your business? So the one absolute truth about the lunar cycle is that the energy is there whether you like it or not. That is absolutely true. So whether you want to believe in it or not believe in it, or flow with it or not flow with it, it's going to be there. So which one do you want to choose? And I noticed, I know for me, like I mentioned, I didn't grow up in knowing or believing anything about this kind of stuff. So for a long time, I was really like, no, I'm not gonna do this. This is, I was pushing it away and pushing it away. And then as soon as I said, okay, well, it's there, let's see what I can do with this, then things became easier for me. So that is the big truth of it. Getting into really, really basic about the lunar phases. So there's 8 main lunar phases. It starts with the new moon. Each lunar cycle, that's the dark of the moon when we don't see the moon in the sky. And then we have the waxing half of the moon, which is building. It's a building period. And to keep this really, really human and simple for us, as the light is building, we should be building. So going from the dark of the moon to the full light of the full moon, the light is building, we should be building. Keep it really simple. Then we have the full moon, of course, which is big energy, and that starts the waning half of the moon. And that's when the light is going away or releasing from the big moon to the no light of the new moon. And so as the light is releasing, we should be releasing. Easy, easy, right? Am I keeping everybody so far? Okay. And I would love to ask a question. Does anybody know what phase of the moon we're in right now? Does anybody know that? I want to see where we're at.
Good, Debbie.
Debbie knows. We're in the waning.
We're in the waning half of the moon, yes. Do you know what specific phase we're in?
No.
Anybody know?
It's waning toward the new moon.
That's right. Very good. All right. Well, I'm going to share with you about each of the phases, and I'm going to let you know where we're at, and I'm going to give you some good news about tomorrow when we get done. So, all right. So let's start on your worksheet. I've kept it really simple for you guys. I'm just going to go through each of the 8 phases, give you a theme for the phase, or a focus word, and then one practice that you can do in your business during each of those phases, okay? Okay, so the first phase of the lunar cycle is the new moon. And your focus word for the new moon is set. Set. And what I like to do during the new moon is set my goals and intentions for the lunar month. So I set a month-long goal for my business during the new moon. It's not really a time during the new moon phase to take action. It's really more of a planning phase. It's what do you want? What do you want to visualize for yourself, for your business? And getting an idea of what you want to do. How are you going to achieve these goals that you are putting into place? The second one is the crescent moon, and that's the little one you see behind me here. And the word is learn. Learn for the crescent moon. Now, the crescent moon, as I mentioned, starts the waxing half of the moon where we should be building. And so one of the things that we can build is our knowledge and skills, and that's why the word is learn. So during the crescent moon, something that you can do for your business is to learn something new. And what is going to help you contribute to achieving your goals? So we set our intentions, we're learning something new. And still moving into that waxing half of the moon, we have the first quarter moon. And that's when it's about half full in the sky. We're halfway to the full moon. And the word for the first quarter moon is build. Build. So that's when we're building momentum. We're getting excited. And one of the best practices for your business during the build phase is to advertise. Advertise for what you have going on. And I'm going to be talking about during a later moon phase, putting your program, your products, your services out into the world. So right now, during that first quarter moon, you want to be advertising for what you're going to put out there later. It's also a good time during the first quarter moon to ask for testimonials from your clients, because you're playing into this energy of getting excited, right? The energy is building towards that full moon. So you want to hear about how excited and happy your clients are and share that with other people so they'll also be excited about your offerings. Moving on, the final phase of the waxing moon is the gibbous moon. And the word for the gibbous moon is schedule. Now, I know you're probably thinking, wait a minute, I thought I scheduled during the new moon. You do, but this is the time to revisit that schedule and scheduling practices. And the reason why we're doing this is because if you guys can just raise your hand, have any of you ever felt a little bit wonky maybe around the full moon? Anybody feel that energy, or at least see it in other people? It's never us, right? It's everybody else. I know my kids go crazy during the full moon. We actually do not homeschool on the full moon. We just don't. I've been there. I'm not doing it anymore. So the reason we revisit our schedule during the gibbous moon is because this is the last phase before the full moon, and those of us that are really lunar sensitive can start to feel that energy already. So we need to look at our schedule and say, is what I'm doing right now really serving me? Do I need to take more breaks? Do I need to block some things together? So revisiting that schedule is really important. I know a lot of people set their schedule on the new moon and then kind of forget about it the rest of the month. But I think it's important to revisit that and continually ask yourself, am I being productive? Am I able to handle all that's on my schedule? So that's for the gibbous moon. And then we move into the full moon. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting because I know that one of the biggest things I see in sort of the spiritual community is that everybody has like these new moon ceremonies, and then they have a full moon ceremony where they do like a big releasing. That was how I had gotten started in the full moon or following the lunar cycle as well. But for some reason to me, the full moon never felt like I should be releasing that night. So when we would go to do this big releasing ceremony, I would be it just would feel really off for me. And it's because the full moon being full energy, it's time to celebrate. So that is your word for the full moon, is celebrate. Celebrate every success. Revisit your testimonials. Even share more of the successes and testimonials that you had. Look back over your schedule, your checklist, and give yourself a pat on the back for everything that you've accomplished so far, because that's going to help you keep going. If we move right from this building energy where you're so excited about your business and then right into releasing, but we've forgotten to celebrate all that we've accomplished, we're missing something big there, because that celebration time is going to really help you keep going. So full moon is celebrate. Moving on, we move into the waning half of the moon, and Debbie and Margaret were right on that. That's the half that we're in now. And the first one is the disseminating moon. Disseminating moon. And the word for the disseminating moon is share. Share what you know. It's a great time for Facebook Lives, teaching classes, webinars. Also a great time if you have mail to send those out through the post. It's the energy of releasing. So you're putting out there into the world what you want people to know. And coming off of that celebratory full moon, everybody's still kind of on a high too. So it's putting everything out there really at perfect timing. The last quarter moon is the next phase, and your word is release. Again, this is when the moon is half full in the sky. And the word release is going to help you to declutter your business. So decluttering your office, decluttering parts of your business that isn't working. Back earlier this year, I actually decluttered my business. Like I implemented a brand new, I said, this isn't working, not happening anymore. And I put something else completely new into place. So whatever isn't working is also that time. If you have a client or two that you're not in alignment with anymore, it might be time to declutter that from your business as well. So taking a look at anything that isn't working for you and your business. So decluttering is important. The last phase of the lunar cycle is the balsamic moon. And your word for the balsamic moon is rejuvenate. And the good news is that we go into the balsamic moon tomorrow. And so that means that I'm giving you all permission to take a vacation for a couple of days. This is the phase of the lunar cycle where you want to rest and relax so that you're ready to start again. We want to make sure that as we're going into the new moon that we've had a chance to really process all of this decluttering that we've done, to give ourselves a break. We've done a lot of building and celebrating, and even the process of releasing takes a lot of energy. And so give yourself a couple minutes, a couple days, a couple hours, whatever you need to really rest and relax during that balsamic moon. And one of the things that I share with my clients is that it can be a lot of fun when we're when we learn to follow the lunar cycle and we understand how powerful it is. And then the rest of the world just doesn't understand it. Like our bosses still want us to work during the balsamic moon, and our kids still want to, act crazy during times that we're supposed to be working. And not everybody is on this cycle, right? So the best thing you can do is just to give yourself the time that you need. Obviously, you can't call your boss and say, well, it's the balsamic moon, I'm not coming in for a couple of days, or I'm just not going to take any clients. It's just about putting yourself first during the balsamic moon. Make sure you've scheduled in time to relax. Make sure if you want to go get that massage, that's a great time to go do it. Sleep a little longer. Take a nap if you need to. It doesn't mean to completely Netflix and chill for a couple of days, but put yourself first, and that's really, really important. So it's a lot of, like I said, the lunar cycle has a lot to take in, and there's a lot that can be learned, and there's a lot of fun rabbit holes that you can go down when you start getting into the astrology portion of the lunar cycle. But I think the biggest thing I can leave you with today is if you just start really basic with these 8 little things that you can do every single month, even if you get to the last quarter moon and you say, I don't have anything to declutter, just thinking about what are some of the thoughts in my mind I can declutter, like just keeping it really basic and make it special for you and what works for you. Don't compare your practice to other people, and things will flow beautifully for you.
Wow, thank you so much, Jessica. Look at all these notes I took. We had some questions for Jessica on the lunar cycle. Margaret got her hand up already. She is ready.
Well, I just need the clarification of, is on the gibbous moon, is that Gibbous? How do you spell that?
Gibbous.
O-U-S.
Yes.
I had to Google that, Margaret, so don't feel bad.
I still have to Google them sometimes.
O-U-S. O-S. Go ahead, Debbie.
Oh, was Mary Beth up first?
Oh, I don't know.
I just am curious, like, this is fascinating. Is there anything that like sort of overlays this with the seasons that amplifies any of these areas?
Yeah, so once you get into, I always tell people to start out really basic, like just looking at the 8 phases and what can you do with that. But as you go on, you can see how seasons can amplify things, and also the astrology portion, like I said, can amplify things as well. For example, I'll give you a couple examples. The one thing is that, so because we are in the fall time right now where we're at, well, some of us are at here in the North America, we're in the fall time. And so that last quarter moon, the releasing is probably going to you're going to have more of a pull to release now, as opposed to the last quarter moons when we have it like in the springtime, when you might feel more like you need to build something. So the seasons can play into it. And also, like I said, the astrology, I will give you an example. So we are in the sign of Virgo right now. And the last quarter moon that we're in is about decluttering and releasing. And Virgo is very, perfectionist and everything in its place kind of energy. And so it really plays in beautifully to that. And you might feel more of a pull to declutter, to organize, to that sort of thing. Where as opposed to when, bless us, the last quarter moon is in Aquarius, and we're and we're like, no, I'm just not going to do that.
That's awesome. So I have a question about when to know when these phases have started. Now, you might have saw me looking over here. I have a calendar on the wall, and maybe the question is you just need a better calendar. But I don't see any of these besides new moon and full moon on my calendars. How do we know when it's gibbous moon and first quarter moon, etc.?
Well, it's interesting because I had a lot of calendars now will have that new and full moon. It's a great place to start. And then some of the ones that you can get will go a little further and have the new moon, the full moon, and then the quarter moons. So the first quarter and the last quarter moons. It is very, very rare. And in fact, I have not found one that has the crescent moon, the balsamic moon, the disseminating moon, and all of that. I have at the bottom of your worksheet, there's a little bit.ly link there. You can go there, and I have a free handbook that has every phase in it for the year. It's going to update it. I'm going to update at the end of December for 2019, but it's free. You can get it, and has all of the dates in there and times. It's interesting because I have software that I make a spreadsheet that show the different phases and things like that. But I even bought what was supposed to be a lunar planner from Llewellyn. at the bookstore, and it did not have
Mm.
the balsamic moon, the crescent moon, and all of that in it. I was very, very surprised. And so that's in the works because that needs to happen.
That's something, yeah, for great. So if we download that now, it'll give us 2018.
Yeah. And then I'm going to, you'll see a link in the handbook to a website where as soon as I have the updated one, it'll be there for you.
Perfect. Oh, I'll definitely. If you don't know, it's down here at the bottom if you can't.
And as a shortcut, the Google Calendar, you can add in the moon. It'll give you the 4, like you said.
Right.
It doesn't have balsamic, but it does the quarters and the full and new.
Yeah, I was really excited when I saw the add-on for the Google Calendar, and then I clicked on it, and it was just the 4. And
Missing half of it, right?
No.
Oh,
Well,
Mary Beth, what you got there?
Yes, there's apps that are really, really good too. I'm glad that you brought that up, Mary
Which
Beth.
one do you have, Mary Beth?
I have, let's see. Heck, I don't know. So this is just I thought this was just my, tell me what temperature it is, but there is a sun and moon piece of it that actually, now that I know something about it, I'm going to start watching the moon cycle
There
here.
you go, right on your phone.
Waning moon, just as you said, yeah.
There's an app if you're on, now I'm really upset because I just switched to Android, but for anybody that's on Apple, there's an app called Simply Full Moon. And it has this little chime that plays when the moon changes phase and it pops up on your screen. It's a little fluffy app for you.
That's awesome.
And it gives you, what I like about that one is if you are going to keep a lunar journal, it gives you 3 words that go with whatever phase that it's in and the astrology of it. So it'll say like, rejuvenating or perfectionist, or it'll give you 3 words that go with it so you can kind of get a feel for the energy.
Wow, that's great. Thank you for that tip. And Connie Jo put another web address in there for us as well. And what other questions we have? Connie Jo, do you have something? Yeah, go ahead.
November 23rd is the beaver moon. I guess there's different names for the moon depending on the month.
Yeah, there's different names for the full moons, and that dates back really, really a long way. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the names of the moon, but they are really interesting. And something really important to note about that is that a lot of the names that we get for things, like, have you guys ever heard of a blue moon? I'm assuming when the full moon happens twice in a month, but following the lunar cycle predates our current calendar. So it's actually just a calendar full moon. It's not, or a calendar blue moon. It's not a legitimate blue moon, which happens during the same astrological cycle.
So I also have a question.
Go ahead.
So this is like a guide for like running your business. What about for doing client work? Like, how do you use this information to help you do your client work?
So you mean just in the process of me doing my client work, or working or with the clients themselves?
Well, both. Like, is there some way to use this to your advantage when you're doing your client work, when you're either working with, doing the work that you're doing for, like my bookkeeping. So I'm doing bookkeeping, and my bookkeeping isn't something that, it is something that's over a period of a month that I'm doing books. It's a process.
Right.
Not like I just do it and it's done.
So in the link that I gave you for the lunar handbook, there's also there's the 8 lunar phases in there, and actually, Jill, can I share this so that they can see what I'm talking about?
Yep, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, let me.
We love shares.
Okay, so this is what's one of the pages inside the lunar handbook, and it has just little things that aren't necessarily related to business, but that can apply to any area of your life. It has all the themes and things that are there, but you can just I encourage everybody to really keep this as human and as simple as possible. So for example, when we talked about in the disseminating moon, putting things out there into the world, because it's that the energy of sending things out or releasing. If you had something really important for your client to understand, if you had something for them that you wanted to make sure that they were going to grasp, that would be the phase to do it in, to put it out there to them. If you, I'm trying to think of in the sense of what's a couple of things that you do in your business, Connie, that would be, that are like normal practices for you with your clients?
Well, one thing is asking them questions, things that they need to respond back to me with, more information. And I typically do it very early in the month, because that's when I've input most of the information, and then there's going to be questions generated. And sometimes I get response and sometimes I don't quickly.
Right.
And it depends on the person, but.
Well, I think here's the thing. So the lunar cycle does not follow the calendar, obviously. It adjusts as time goes on because it's only 29 days. So and then our months are 30 or 31 days. So obviously, eventually the lunar cycle rotates through the calendar month. So what's a disseminating moon now might not be a disseminating moon, 3 years from now. It could be a completely different time of month. However, so you can, if you're not locked down to our very human calendar, you can choose to ask those questions during the disseminating moon. However, if you are locked into the calendar, what I would suggest is to ask the questions, but during the disseminating moon, maybe put it out there again, confirm the answers, or for those people that didn't answer the first time around, ask again at that time. So just, again, not the whole world is at the whim of the lunar cycle like I put myself in, but you can tweak it so that you can at least do it in a way that feels good for you and benefit from it. But it doesn't have to be like you can only ask questions on the disseminating moon, or you can only do this. Do it in a way that feels good for you. But I would use that disseminating moon to ask the questions again, or maybe put a little something out there for those people who didn't answer you the first time around. Does that help at all?
Yeah, thank you. That's good. Yes. Thank you.
All right. Well, Jessica, that was, and I can't wait to download your little handbook there. That's amazing. Thank you so much for this great and informative talk. Did everybody get something out of it? I know I did. And I do have some moon practices, but not as in depth as this. And so thank you. It's really, really cool. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you put your name and email address in the chat box. I'll make sure you get a recording of this, of Jessica's presentation, the whole meeting, as well as a copy of the chat box. Just one quick reminder on that. Before we move into the last portion of today's meeting, which is the announcements. This is when you get announced what you're promoting in your business, what you referral ask, a shout out, really whatever you like. We're pretty open here. So I'm going to start at the bottom this time, and that's going to be Judy Kane.
Okay, well, I'm always looking for coaches to connect with so that I can help them help their clients unblock the blocks so that they can move on with their coaching. Also, if for anybody in the area who wants to come down to the area, I'm having a Psych K basic workshop in January, which eventually I'll get on the website once I've got a flyer done. But that's going to be the 3-day weekend of Martin Luther King in January, so the 19th through the 21st.
Awesome, Judy. That's great. Congratulations on that. Yay. Tigger. Any announcements? Anything you'd like to share?
No, not really.
Looking for clients?
This is kind of that last minute thing, so.
That's okay. We don't mean to put you on the spot. Thank you for joining us today, though. We've enjoyed having you.
Yeah, and I do agree with my fellow bookkeeper, because I do bookkeeping that's not for like these businesses, and when they use their business as a personal, yeah, that's not good. So keep them separate.
Thank you. Oh, that's fun. Well, to our other bookkeeper, Connie Jo, what announcements do you have?
Just as always, I'm welcoming new clients. So if you know any coaches or other solopreneurs that are at their wits' end with their books, I'm here to help them.
Thank you. Mary Beth.
Okay. First, Jessica, thank you so much. I have to say, I looked up when the last quarter moon was, and it was Halloween. But I had the hugest release ever the day before, so I think I was still in the last quarter moon. So thank you for that. It was unbelievable. I was just, well, you know, some things have happened that probably have affected a lot of us. Yeah. And that was a huge release. So thanks for helping me put that in perspective. Like, where the heck did that come from? And it was very helpful. So I do have a Fur Buddy Healing Circle coming up Monday the 12th. If people will love to, I have some people that love to do this. You bring in, and I can do a little bit of animal communication and a lot of energy healing for the animal and their person. And did 6 animals and X number of people. So sometimes we have multiple animals come in. So I'll put the information there. I'd love, if you know anybody, it's a great way to get to know me and the work I do. Thank you. Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Hannah, what you got for us today?
I just want to say thank you to Jessica. It was very interesting. I didn't know anything about this before, so I'm very curious about the handbook, which I will download immediately after this call. I have a new 5-minute visual class out since yesterday, and I will provide the link in the chat box.
Okay, because I didn't see it yet. So, yeah.
And it's about leaking images. And I guess you wouldn't think that images can leak, but they can. So you better watch it.
Love it. Her videos are oh so good, so make sure you watch them. Thank you, Hannah. Margaret, what you got for us today?
Well, it is gift giving time, folks. It's time to plan, and especially, you know, November is the time of thank you to your clients. So I have a great offer on Your Chatter Matters Journal of Gratitude. What a great way to tell your clients that you're grateful for them. And I've got some discounts, and I'm going to post them in the chat. So for buying in quantity. So
thank you, Margaret. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Sure.
Susan, what you got for us? Susan Rose.
I don't appear in that spot on my computer. So.
I know, it's all.
But thank you, Jessica. That was really, really interesting. I really enjoyed it a lot. And I actually downloaded a New Moon app on the iPhone, by the way. I just looked, I had all of the moon phases in it. So that was
very cool.
I actually don't really have an ask for today. I just wanted to come in here and hear this presentation. So.
Well, we're glad you stopped by. Thank you. Come see Susan at the other virtual networkers. Mondays at noon. Different bat channel. It's on the Keep It Local site if you'd like to go. Jessica, if you ever want to do another presentation, they are always looking for speakers. Mondays at noon. I don't know if that works with your schedule, but if you're interested, Jessica, let me know and I'll put you in contact with the person over there. Jessica, speaking of which, any announcements, anything you're promoting, anything we can help you with?
Sure. So, Jill mentioned my my community called Illuminate Your Spirit on Facebook. We're doing a 30-day Illuminate Your Gratitude experience right now. I'm calling it an experience because I've done the challenges, I've done the journal, all of that, and I wanted something that was going to put together a gratitude practice, but along with some service and just feeling really good about this month. And so you can join me there if you would like, and I will put it in the chat box.
Awesome. Yeah, drop the link in. That'd be great. Thank you. Debbie, what you got for us?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Jessica. I love this. This is so powerful. I do a new moon letter, which has just transformed the way that my business works, and I call myself a micro manifesting mofo as a result. So I'm micro manifesting lots of people who would like to join my virtual blog planning day. A couple of you have participated in it already from last year. So this is just for new people. It is a half day, December 14th from 10 to 2 Eastern, and we will get 100% of the people in the group will be ready to rock and roll with their blog plan for the entire year. And it'll be fun too. So I'm putting that link in here. So if you know of anybody who blogs for their business or wants to, have them join us.
Awesome. Yes, I have no doubt that that is going to be an awesome, awesome time. Mary Beth's done it, right, Mary Beth? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. She's the reason that she got me kicked off last fall, and I've been blogging weekly ever since. And it's a direct result of spending time with Debbie and seeing how you can make it happen. And so, wow.
That's so sweet. Awesome. All right, I'm the final last Mohicans. I have just a couple chapter announcements, and then I'll do a personal announcement, and then I'll let y'all go. Thank you for hanging out with me on this Friday, every Friday. First of all, I want to do a kudos to our quarter one speaker group, who is, I believe, raise your hand if you're in the speaker group for, I think it's Hannah, Margaret, Debbie. They have secured every Friday, first quarter, done. We have speakers January, February, and March, and some extras for the second quarter crew. Congratulations. I am elated because I know what to do it. And I saw the list. It's so many cool and luscious people, all different walks of life. Very excited. So I want to say thank you, ladies, for powwowing and doing that. It's an amazing job. Second quarter, don't wait too long to get started. Debbie, in the Facebook group or whoever, whichever you ladies, if you could put maybe your process that you followed in the Google Docs and all of that, I think it's a great thing to benchmark. And then if the second quarter crew have any improvements on that, because the more brains, the better, we can really refine this. Here's the thing, Laura Shipman, who watched the replay of our meeting a couple weeks ago, was just blown away by this idea. And I think she wants to institute it across all the chapters in Keep It Local, which is lots and lots of things. So we did good work, ladies. So I was hats off to them. Thank you so much for doing that. Speaking of speakers, next week we have our own Margaret presenting on LinkedIn. I know a lot of us are going to be so excited. So please, when I do that event page on Monday, and I will do the event page on Monday because Margaret sent me her information, please share. Let's get some more people here. I know so many people struggle with LinkedIn, and let's get some people here so Margaret can have a good audience to teach as well as us. And I think, and then just a reminder for November, we are not meeting the Friday after Thanksgiving, which is the 23rd, so especially for Hannah, who doesn't observe Thanksgiving. Please don't show up. You'll be by yourself. We don't have any Canadians yet in here. So now for me, I just, we got a friend. Jessica's got one of her kids here. Hi, sweetie. Oh, no, Shy.
Shy.
I am wrapping up enrollment for November in the Celestial Circle. If you need help doing your 2019 marketing plan, the whole kit and caboodle, sign up, literally sign up today. JillCeleste.com/2019 planning. I know many of you are already doing this with me. We are going to go and kick some hiney together in 2019, and we're doing a big planning day next Thursday. All of the details are there. So if you have not started your planning, come join us. We have a lot of fun, and we will do it together. So that is it. Anything else for the good of the order? All right.
Just one quick thing is next week we're going to go really live on to LinkedIn and go through that. It's not a big slide presentation, just a couple of minutes on that. So, and I might be checking out your profiles before then. So don't panic. It's all good because that's how we learn.
Oh yeah, everybody's like face went.
I've already checked them, so it's all good.
Is it time to declutter our LinkedIn profile? Is it a good time to do that?
What's that?
Is it a good time to declutter our LinkedIn profile?
That could be. Or actually, we'll see.
Things what we have next week.
Margaret, I did my banner on Canva last night, and it took 2 seconds. Remember I said I was having trouble with my banner? It was so easy. It was just
easy button, right? Remember?
Yes, very easy button.
Good.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Margaret.
Well, we're going to have a great time with LinkedIn. Thank you, Margaret, for hosting that. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. Watch for the event page for next week. Jessica, thank you again. Taker, thank you for joining us.
Yes. Great job, Jessica. Thank you.
Have a great weekend, everyone.